had a dream. Not the kind that fades with waking, but one that lingers like smoke after fire, like silence after a bell stops ringing. It came upon me in the hours just before dawn, when the world is hushed and even time seems unsure of itself. I found myself standing between two realms, a space where light did not quite conquer darkness, and darkness had not yet consumed the light. A threshold, a veil. And there he stood, not glowing, not winged, not cloaked in fire, nor wreathed in song. He simply stood still as a grave, quiet as the wind that moves among the stones of a forgotten city. I wanted to speak, but my mouth would not move. I wanted to ask who he was, but I already knew. He did not answer. He did not need to. His silence was not emptiness. It was fullness beyond words. It held the weight of every ending, of every final breath, of every name whispered one last time before vanishing from the lips of the living. He looked at me, or perhaps through me. His gaze did not pierce. It enveloped. I did not feel fear, not in the way one fears thunder or pain, but in the way one stands before the sea and realizes how small we truly are. A holy kind of dread. Around him, the air shifted, not wind, but memory. Moments I had lived, forgotten arguments, unspoken prayers. Laughter I had buried long ago rose like dust shimmering in the half-light. It was as if my soul had been turned inside out, and he was reading it, without judgment, without haste. Then he stepped forward. No sound, no echo, just presence, heavy and absolute. And in that moment I understood something I had never known with my mind, that death is not an end. It is a summons, a return. Not a thief in the night, but a servant who comes when called. He raised his hand, and I saw not flesh but starlight and shadow twined together. The edges of his form blurred as if he belonged to a realm where shapes do not stay fixed. And just as he was about to touch me, I awoke. The room was silent, the air cold, and my hands trembling. But something had shifted. In me, I could still feel his presence like a thread wrapped around my heart, pulling me gently toward understanding. Azrael, that was his name. Though he had never spoken it, I had known it from the moment our eyes met. The angel of death, not as terror, but as truth. I have carried this dream ever since, and now I tell it to you, not to frighten, but to prepare. For if even in sleep, his silence can awaken something in us, what might his true story reveal? Let us go back to the beginning, not of my dream, but of his destiny. To the moment when he was not yet Azrael, but only an obedient silent one, waiting for a task no other angel dared to take. Long before I dreamed of him, long before his name became a whisper in our myths, there was a moment when he was not yet the angel of death. He had no title, no throne, no shadow cast across the stories of mankind. He was simply Azrael, one among many. In that time before the winds carried names, before humanity breathed, God made a request that stirred all of heaven. "Go down to the earth," he said, "and bring to me its dust. For from that dust the first man would be shaped." And so the archangels were summoned. Michael, the sword of heaven, descended. He approached the earth with honor in his stride, but when he reached to gather its soil, the earth cried out. "Do not take from me," it said, "for what you create shall walk upon me, bleed into me, die upon me." Michael heard, and he turned away. Then came Gabriel, the messenger whose words had stirred prophets and kings. He too approached the earth, but as he reached down, he felt something, a heartbeat, a sorrow, a plea. He too turned back, unable to fulfill the task. Raphael tried. Israfel considered. Each felt the earth's mourning and returned empty-handed. It was not fear, it was compassion. Even the greatest angels hesitated to begin a story that would end in death. And then, Azrael stepped forward. He was not asked twice. He did not speak. He listened and obeyed. When his feet touched the earth, the soil trembled beneath him. The wind stopped. Birds fell silent. The ground once firm softened like breath. And the earth wept. "Why do you come?" it asked. "Will you not leave me in peace?" Azrael knelt. His hands moved slowly, reverently, gathering dust with care. Some say he spoke gently to the earth. "I will return it," he whispered, "when the time is done." Others say he said nothing at all. But what mattered is that he did not stop. For every handful of soil he gathered, he took with it the weight of what was to come, the cries of birth, the silence of death, the lives that would rise and fall upon this sacred ground. He held that dust as if he already knew it would one day return to his hands. Lifeless. He ascended. He returned to the throne. And in that moment, all of heaven saw this one. This quiet, obedient one had done what none of the others could. Not because he was stronger, but because he bore the unbearable without resistance. It was then that God gave him a name that no other would carry. Azrael, the one who would one day guide every soul, from breath to stillness. Not as a warrior, not as a judge, but as a witness and a keeper. This was not glory, it was burden. But Azrael did not shrink from it. He accepted it. And that more than anything is what made him different. He did not fight. He did not preach. He did not run. He simply obeyed. And from that obedience came a fear unlike any other. Even Michael, even Lucifer, they would one day pause in his presence. For Azrael's silence meant only one thing. The story was over. From the dust he returned, and nothing in heaven was ever the same. Azrael had carried not just soil, but the permission for humanity to begin. And with that beginning, he became tied to every ending. He was not crowned. No trumpet sounded. No winged host surrounded him. But the title whispered through the divine halls. Malak al-Maut, the angel of death. Not a warrior, not a messenger, a watcher, a guide. His task to mark the closing breath, to carry the soul from flesh into whatever lay beyond. He was not wrath. He was not mercy. He was necessity. Other angels had clear boundaries. Michael protected. Gabriel proclaimed. Raphael healed. Israfil waited to blow the final trumpet. But Azrael, he stood at the very intersection of time and eternity. And unlike the others, his presence was never announced. No lightning, no voice, no sign. Only silence and certainty. For when Azrael comes, he does not ask. He does not argue. He simply arrives when it is time. And only then. In the oldest scrolls, they say Azrael carries a record, a divine list, a scroll that stretches beyond sight. Every soul that breathes has a name inscribed. When a child is born, the name is added. When death approaches, it glows with light. And when the final breath escapes, the name fades, erased by the hand that never misses. This is not a book of judgment. It is not a list of worth. It is a timetable, a pattern, the rhythm of life. And Azrael, he is its keeper. He watches. He waits. Not out of pleasure, not out of curiosity, but out of obedience. And this is what sets him apart. Lucifer, once a radiant one, chose rebellion. Michael, fierce and faithful, leads war. But Azrael, he never chose. He was chosen, and he has never disobeyed. In many traditions, Azrael is what we call a psychopomp, a bearer of souls, a conductor of spirits. He does not simply remove life. He carries it. He accompanies it to that next realm which no eye can see and no foot can trace. For the righteous, his hand is soft, a breath of wind, a warmth that says it is finished. Come. For the wicked, his presence is weight, a cold that bites deeper than any wound. But still, he comes only when summoned, only when the scroll commands. And so it is said he never tires, because his strength is not his own. He moves on divine impulse. He touches only when heaven nods. But oh, his reach. No angel has touched more lives. Not Michael on the battlefield, not Gabriel with the prophets. Every tongue, every tribe, every child and king. At some point, they all passed through his hands. From the ancient pyramids to the hidden caves, from the burning cities to the quiet fields, Azrael was there. And he will be there still, but not always in person. Sometimes he sends others, angels of death, plural. They move at his direction, swift, silent, certain. Some wear faces of light, others masks of horror. They are shaped not by their will, but by the soul they must collect. For those who lived with justice, the messenger comes clothed in peace. For those who thrived in cruelty, the angel bears iron wings, hooks, and heat. This is not punishment, it is reflection, a mirror held at the last breath. Azrael is more than a servant. He is a commander, a general of a legion no man sees. Their task to keep balance, to ensure the rhythm continues. In times of war, his messengers multiply. In seasons of plague, they move like wind. In quiet deaths, a single presence appears. But when a soul is rare, a prophet, a saint, a life carved with light, then Azrael comes himself. He does not knock. He does not enter. He simply is. And the soul knows. One ancient tale speaks of Azrael arriving for Moses. He did not speak first. He waited. And Moses asked, "Have you come to take or to ask?" Azrael answered, "I come with permission, but not demand." And Moses understood, for that is Azrael's way. No violence, no hurry, just presence. And so I ask you, what would you see if he stood before you now? What would your soul reflect? A gentle warmth or a cold, final reckoning? Because one day, no matter who you are, no matter what you believe, you will see him, not as fear, not as fate, but as the gatekeeper, the final hand, the last presence. And when you do, will you be ready to let go? Or will the silence be deafening? Let us go deeper, into the form of the one who sees every soul on earth at once. Let us explore what no artist can paint, what no poet can capture. The true appearance of Azrael. How do you describe what has never been seen? How do you paint a shape that changes with every breath of the world? This is the challenge of describing Azrael. For while most angels appear in human likeness, clothed in light, armed with flame, winged like birds of fire, Azrael is something else entirely. In ancient scrolls, his appearance is vast, terrifying, sacred. They say he has 4 faces, each turned to a corner of the earth: north, south, east, west. Not one gaze, but 4. For how else can one watch every soul at every hour, in every nation, under every sky? He does not blink, he does not sleep, he does not miss. Where you walk, he has seen. Where you hide, he already knows. But his faces are just the beginning. Scriptures and oral traditions speak of his 4,000 wings, wings that stretch across dimensions, wings not made of feathers, but of purpose. Some are cloaks of mercy. They descend like dusk, soft, cool, silent. Others, they are wings of justice, sharp, heavy, frightening, made not of light, but of metal and flame. Iron rods that strike, hooks that rend, scissors that sever. These are not symbols, they are tools, used not to hurt, but to separate. To divide what must no longer be joined, body from soul, time from eternity. And then, there are his limbs. Some say he has 70,000 arms and legs, each one stretched across space, connected to a single living soul. A reach so infinite, so intimate, that no death occurs without his touch. You might wonder why so many. Because Azrael does not act one soul at a time. He is not bound by place, nor by moment. He stands outside our clocks, above our maps. When thousands fall in an instant, in war, in plague, in silence, he does not panic, he does not rush. He moves with divine precision. But the most unsettling feature, the one that lingers in myth, in whispers, in dreams, is this: Azrael's body is covered in eyes and tongues, not metaphor, not poetry. Truth as told by ancient seers. Each eye sees a living soul. Each tongue reflects its voice. 7 billion eyes, 7 billion voices. Your cry, your song, your silence, all mirrored in him. And when a person dies, one eye closes, one tongue disappears, not with sound, but with absence. A vacancy, a space where once there was light. And so Azrael wears the pulse of humanity upon his form. He is the living census, the breathing archive. And still his body is not fixed. It changes, grows, contracts. With every birth he expands. With every death he shrinks. Not in power, but in shape. He is the canvas of existence, drawn by the breath of every man, every woman, every child. Some say he carries a flaming whip, not to punish, but to command. A signal to lesser angels, a sign of authority. Others say the earth, all of it, appears to him no larger than a bowl in his palm. He does not walk, he does not fly. He is already everywhere. To him, mountains are dust, oceans mere drops, distance irrelevant, time already written. And if that were not enough, in Islamic theology there are angels known as the bearers of the throne. They are said to be the mightiest in form. Their only role to uphold the throne of God himself, cosmic in size, vast beyond comprehension. And yet, some traditions say, even they are smaller than Azrael. Not because he is greater in rank, but because his task touches every life. Because his function is final. But here lies the paradox. Azrael is not cruel. He is not evil. He is not darkness. He is what must be. And that is why he is feared. Because he is beyond resistance, beyond pleading, beyond postponement. He does not answer to emotion. He does not flinch at tears. He moves when the scroll tells him to, and only then. So the question remains, if such a being exists with eyes that see you, a tongue that mirrors your voice, a hand that may one day reach, what would he find in you? What would your reflection reveal? A soul ready, a life unfinished. In the next part, we journey into a place few dare to look, Azrael's inner war. For even he once stood at a crossroads, a moment when obedience met compassion, and he had to choose. There is a story not written in scripture, but passed in hushed tones among mystics, whispered under breath by those who ponder the sorrow of angels. It tells of the one time Azrael hesitated, the one moment when obedience met mercy. The soul belonged to a woman. She was not a prophet, not a saint, not a queen. She was a mother, a widow, a candle in a darkened village. She had lost much, a husband to war, a child to fever, her home to silence. Yet each morning she rose before the sun, fed the orphans who were not her own, sang prayers no one heard, lit lamps no one thanked her for. Her soul was tired, but luminous. And then her name began to glow on the scroll Azrael kept. The time had come. He descended quiet as always. The wind bent around him, the walls sighed, the very shadows seemed to kneel. And she looked up and smiled. She knew. But then something happened. As he reached out, the child in her arms, a boy, not of her blood, stirred in his sleep. He reached blindly, wrapping small fingers around her wrist. And in that single touch, Azrael paused. Not because the boy could stop him, not because the task was unclear, but because something ancient stirred within him. A question, a flicker, a whisper not from God, but from within. He had never questioned. Not when he first gathered the dust of Adam. Not when kingdoms rose and fell at his silent passing. Not even when angels trembled as he walked. But here, in a forgotten home before a nameless woman, he felt a pull. Could mercy be greater than the moment? Could love delay fate? The child murmured. The woman breathed. And Azrael stood frozen between two eternities. One written, one wished. It is said the stars dimmed waiting. The other angels turned their faces uncertain what they would witness. For if Azrael turned back now, if he denied the scroll, then the fabric of time itself might unravel. But if he obeyed, this child would lose the only light he had ever known. In that moment, Azrael did what only he could do. He did not choose. He surrendered, not to emotion, not to defiance, but to the will that was greater than both. And then a new name appeared on the scroll. Not the woman's, the boy's. It glowed briefly, then dimmed. A sign, a divine whisper. Not yet. Azrael lowered his hand. The woman lived. He departed, not triumphant, not burdened, just faithful. And in that departure, a lesson was etched into the bones of the cosmos. Even mercy must bow to timing. Later in the halls of heaven, Gabriel asked him, "Did you feel sorrow?" Azrael replied, "No, but I felt the weight of what could have been." Michael asked, "Would you act differently?" Azrael said, "I do not act, I only answer." And the throne was silent, for there was nothing more to say. That was the first and last time he faltered. Since then he has not paused. Not because he is cold, but because he remembers how warm hesitation felt. And he knows the world cannot survive on hesitation. It moves on rhythm, on command, on breath and release. But this story, it remains a hidden chapter in the book no one reads. It is told not to shame Azrael, but to remind us that even the angel of death once felt the ache of love. And he let it pass through him without holding on. Because holding on is not his task. Letting go is. So what of us? When we face the moment when breath grows thin, when time leans in, will we grasp? Will we beg? Or will we understand as she did, that to be touched by Azrael is not to be punished, but to be carried? In the next part, we witness what happens when his silence walks among angels, when even Michael and Lucifer step aside. Because Azrael's footsteps mean the story is ending. The heavens are not silent places. They are filled with movement, wings in motion, trumpets of warning, voices that sing the names of God in endless harmony. Michael trains legions. Gabriel delivers messages that split centuries. Israfil watches trumpet in hand, waiting for the final signal. But there is one presence that stills them all, Azrael. When he walks, they stop. Not from fear, not from awe, but from reverence. His silence is not empty. It is absolute. It carries the echo of finality, a hush that even eternity respects. There is no announcement, no chorus, no light, only a shift, a quiet so deep it unsettles. Michael the warrior, whose sword has guarded the gates of paradise, who once cast down the rebel star. Even he lowers his gaze when Azrael enters. He does not salute, he does not speak. He simply steps aside. For Michael knows war, but Azrael knows aftermath. Gabriel, the herald, whose voice has awakened prophets, whose words shape the destiny of nation. He too grows silent, for Gabriel delivers beginnings, but Azrael marks the end. Israfil, the watcher, whose trumpet shall split the world in two, heralding resurrection and judgment. Even he trembles when Azrael walks near. For while Israfil sounds the last note, Azrael is the one who closes the book. And then there is Lucifer. Before the fall, he was light. He was song. He was beauty. And even now, cloaked in rebellion, he remembers. For when Azrael came near, Lucifer felt something he had long abandoned. Stillness. Not the forced silence of defeat, but the quiet of recognition. Because even pride must yield to what Azrael represents. There is a saying among the angels: he who moves without warning, speaks without sound, and touches without pain. He is to be followed. But Azrael is not followed. He is observed, for he walks a path no other dares tread. The path between breath and absence, between heartbeat and hush. Legends speak of a moment when all the angels gathered for the birth of a new galaxy. Stars spun, light poured, choirs sang. But then Azrael appeared, and everything stopped. Not because he came to end it, but because his presence reminded them. It would end one day, someday, and that was enough to silence even the stars. Azrael is not feared for what he does. He is revered for what he means. He carries no blade, no trumpet, no scroll of law. Yet his footsteps are the punctuation at the end of every story. He has no enemies. He needs no allies. His presence alone changes everything. There are moments when he appears not for a human soul, but for one of his own, an angel whose time has come, a being of light called back to the source. In such times, the heavens hold their breath. Even the bearers of the throne, the titanic spirits who uphold the divine seat, lower their wings. Because they know, if Azrael is summoned for one of them, then even the stars will mourn. One tale tells of a mighty angel faithful for eons, whose flame began to dim. Azrael came. No words, just a glance. And the angel asked, "Will I be remembered?" Azrael answered with silence. Not cruelty, not indifference, but the kind of silence that means yes. That means always. Because Azrael does not erase. He releases. He does not condemn. He completes. And even angels understand this. So if even they pause, the mighty, the radiant, the eternal, what should we do when he passes near? Not tremble, not plead, but reflect. For Azrael is not the end. He is the hand that closes the curtain with grace. In the next part, we explore what makes him appear differently to each soul he touches. Why some see light and others shadow. Why to the righteous he is a friend, and to the fallen a fear too deep to name. Because Azrael is not just death. He is the mirror of your life. Azrael has no single face. He appears not as he is, but as you are. He is the mirror held at the threshold, the final reflection. What you see in him is the truth of yourself. To the righteous he is light, not blinding but warm, golden, a glow that speaks of home. His face is calm. His voice, if it is heard, is peace itself. He does not reach, he invites. And the soul, freed from the weight of flesh, lifts like a feather into his hands. There is no fear, no pain, only a gentle knowing that the journey is ending and beginning. Prophets, saints, the quiet faithful, they speak of him not with dread, but with gratitude. Some say they saw him in dreams, sitting by the river of stars waiting. Others say he smiled a smile so vast, so eternal, that time itself paused to witness it. In these moments, Azrael is not the end. He is the welcome. But not all see light. To the wicked, to the cruel, to the unrepentant, Azrael comes as terror. His form is shadow without edge. His face, a void that reflects only fear. There is no hand extended, only presence. Heavy, final. And the soul, it does not float. It is torn, pulled from the body like cloth from thorns. Some say they hear their name screamed backward. Others feel the weight of every sin at once. Azrael does not accuse, he reveals. What you gave, you now receive. This is not vengeance, it is echo. A soul soaked in violence cannot meet peace. A heart hardened by hate cannot behold grace. Azrael does not punish, He simply arrives as your life demands. Sufi mystics call him the veil lifter. They teach that in the moment of death, no one meets God first. They meet Azrael, and in that meeting they see everything. Their choices, their intentions, their truth. In an instant, without words, without excuse. And how he appears is how they appeared to the world. There is a story told in the circles of dervishes. A man cruel in life mocked death. He called it a lie. He said Azrael was a myth. But as his final hour came, he screamed, not from pain, but from the form that came to take him. No one else saw. But he saw his own shadow stand before him. Azrael looked like him, but darker, hollow. And when he touched the man, he said one thing, "You shaped me." And then, nothing. By contrast, there was a woman. She lived in a village never known beyond its borders. She fed the hungry, washed the sick, prayed in silence. When her time came, Azrael came too. But he looked like her father, her first teacher, the face she trusted. He took her hand and said, "You remembered others. Now you will be remembered." She wept, not in fear, but in relief. So ask yourself, if tonight were your hour, who would you see? What shape would Azrael wear to greet you? Would he come clothed in warmth or clothed in warning? Would his eyes calm or convict? Would his silence bring peace or panic? Because how he appears is how you have lived. And yet, there is grace even in this. Because if Azrael mirrors your soul, then every act of love, every whisper of kindness, every quiet moment of repentance shapes his form. You are not helpless. You are the sculptor of your final vision. And in rare moments, Azrael appears before death. In dreams, in visions. Not to take, but to prepare. To remind, to awaken. The poet Rumi spoke of this. As his end drew near, he dreamed of a man in white. No wings, no halo, just presence. He asked, "Are you death?" The man replied, "No, I am the bridge." Rumi smiled, and he understood. So if you have seen him, in dream, in fear, in silence, perhaps it was not a threat. Perhaps it was a call. To live deeper, to love fuller, to let go sooner. Because Azrael does not chase. He waits, and he arrives when you are ready, or when the time is spoken. In the final part, we will see what happens, not when Azrael comes for one, but when he comes for all, at the end of time. When even death must die. In the end, there is an end even for death. This is not a parable. It is prophecy, a final chapter that few dare to speak of. But it is written, and it will come, after time collapses, after the stars fall like embers, after every soul has been judged. One task remains, the last task. God will summon Azrael, not to take, but to give. And what he gives is death itself. In sacred narrations, death is not an idea, not just a moment, it is a being, a creature of boundary, a servant of necessity. It will be brought forth shaped like a ram, not metaphor, not myth, a real form, tangible, visible. And God will ask, "Do you know what this is?" The assembly, saints and sinners, angels and demons will answer, "Yes, this is death." And then God will slay it. With his own hand, the silence will be complete, not absence, but fullness. A silence that stretches across creation and wraps around time. A silence so deep that even memory holds its breath. For death, that ancient door, is no more. Azrael will stand and watch. The scroll in his hand will vanish. The eyes and tongues that clothed his form, they will blink out one by one, until nothing remains but him. No names, no waiting, no call. He will not walk, he will not fly. He will simply be. And then, not even that. Because Azrael was not created to live forever. He was created to end, to complete, to obey the last command. And when that command is fulfilled, so is he. Some say he will weep, not because he is afraid, not because he regrets, but because there is beauty in finishing well. He will return to the dust he once gathered, the dust that began the story. And so it ends, as it began. Others say God will keep him close, not as the angel of death, but as the angel who obeyed when others could not. He will be robed in rest, no more names, no more silence, only peace. And perhaps that is the final gift, that even the one who bore every ending will himself receive a new beginning. So what does this mean for us? It means death is not the villain. It is the messenger. And Azrael, he is not the reaper. He is the usher, the final friend, the closing voice, the hand that does not tremble. Yes, his silence is feared, but it is not empty. It is filled with meaning, with memory, with mercy. It says what words cannot, that this life matters, that endings matter, and that the one who writes all stories also writes their final line. So the next time you feel the hush, the pause, the sudden awareness that life is fragile, do not turn away. Listen, because sometimes, in that silence, you may hear him, not in fear, but in stillness. The stillness that prepares you to go home. Azrael was never a monster, never a myth. He was the quiet answer to every beginning. And now that you've heard his story, who will you be when he comes? A soul ready to rise, or one still grasping for time? He will not force you. He will only reflect you and carry you forward. One last time. If this story stirred something in you, you are not alone. Share it. Remember it. And live as if your ending already knows your name.